Hello, welcome back to the LAMDA log. We are here week 6, day 4, um, Thursday, the 26th of February. Happy birthday, Jasher. It's my brother's birthday. Hope it was a good one. So, we had a quick little company meeting before we jumped into rehearsal. And I got a new pen, which you can see. If you look at this, like, you can see the lines right there. Look at the difference on that page. Wow. Come on. No pen. Well, like, I have been using these ones, but then it ran out. So I got a new one, which it's like the third one I've been through, which seems not great. Anyway, so with the company meeting, Ollie took roll. And then week after next, we're going to have like an intimacy workshop for like protocol and whatnot, which we've done a little bit, but it would be nice to have like a real intimacy coordinator just like tell us how to stay safe and comfortable. And it'll be out of our regular schedule. So then Charlie J. Jones will help out on our thesis and connect us with our advisor. And she is the new head of singing. There's no set timeline for this yet, ASAP, depending on tutor availability. Like they'll know ASAP? I don't know what I meant by that. Artistic development will begin to be given. Do you like my cute little notebook? I like it. It's fun. I like this color a lot. Does it make my eyes look pretty? Artistic development will be given as time to work on our theses. Rehearsal conduct there is a fine line between giving offers and working working creatively and directing. Or and like directing / giving notes, like giving offers and working creatively versus directing and giving notes. It is not appropriate to like give another actor a note. Ollie said this one story where he was, I think it was him or it was a famous story of someone else, where they like gave another actor a note and the director came up and was like, "What the F are you doing? What are you doing? No, that's not appropriate. Don't ever give another actor a note." And he's like, so don't do that. Don't do that. It's not your job. It messes things up. Don't push people to adopt the world you're creating based on your prep as an actor. So just because you've created this idea and these backgrounds and everything, don't force that on another character. Let them create and do their thing too. Ask yourself, what is your purpose in this scene, and stick to that purpose. Don't try to control things. Enter that second circle with your scene partners, right? So you're just really connected with yourself and them, and it's connected. Then how to address this. One is, how do I help the other actor across from me? How do I make them better? And two, what is the scene doing and how do we make it better? Sorry, I switched my pen. It's lovely. Oh. We're in training, so we're going to learn how to do this together. We're going to make mistakes, and that's the point. So give yourself and others grace. Then we went into rehearsal, and we played Zip, Zap, Zoo again, right? Zap, Zip, Zoo. Right? Zap, Zip, Zoo. And we added armadillo. What you do for armadillos, you go, armadillo, and then everyone else goes, armadillo, and then they switch parts. Yes. Ollie won, which he didn't win on Tuesday. A student beat him, which was sick. But it was tricky because they started with odd numbers and even numbers, and they turned around 3 times, and it was equal every time. So they switched to fruits and vegetables, and I hate that category because like a culinary fruit, like a culinary vegetable is a category, but botanically speaking, a like horticultural vegetables don't exist. Like lettuce is a leaf, and like a lettuce is a leaf, broccoli is a flower, um, cucumber's a fruit. Just like all these classic carrots a root. You know, you think of these things and they don't exist, so it's a dumb classification. Anyway, we continued reading the play because on Tuesday we did not finish it, and we talked about it. We discussed blood sports a little bit, like how bullfighting and fox hunting and bear baiting and cockfighting and rugby, these are all this interesting idea of if human beings need to express these this violence or need to partake in it in some way. And it's a fascinating thought. um just wondering about that. um yeah. So like with bullfighting, the whole thing is the bull will die at the end. It will be killed. I don't know if a bullfighter has ever died in a bullfight, but the bull will die. You know, and then with fox hunting, a bunch of rich people get on horses, and then they send out their dogs, and the dogs like attack a fox and rip it apart. And then the rich people on their horses follow. They're like, "Yay!" And apparently they do this blood. What was it called? Blood letting blood. Can't remember what it's called, but the idea is you on your first time you go fox hunting, you put your finger in the blood of the carcass and you smear it on your face. And so Ollie's got some like super posh friends, and he says that like on holiday, their kids who were like 9 or 10 went fox hunting for the first time, and they're just like smiling with blood smeared on their face, and just like, okay, wild. But we do the same thing today, right? Like with we had gladiator fights and bear biting, and but now we have rugby and hyper violence in movies. And it was proposed that we need this, and I disagree. I don't think so. I don't think that humanity does need that. I think there's going to be, I think that desire exists, but I think we can deny that and overcome it without being without it exploding, because the idea was like if you suppress that or repress it, it will explode into an act of violence that is uncontrolled. And so this is a way that we control these appetites. And the same thing with like sex and lust. We were talking about that um with the incestual relations in Jacobean, with Tis Pity She's a Whore and the Revengers and the Duchess of Malfi. You know, there's these like, but I reject that. I believe that people have the ability and choice to not give in to those appetites of the flesh and still have fully fulfilled and happy lives. So we shall see. But then no event changes when a character is alone, because these are just tactic changes. And then we're going to have questions about like who is the shadow. There's a shadow that appears to Alonso and then disappears. And so there's a trope of like the doppelganger is a harbinger of death. Like if you see someone that looks like yourself, you're going to die, kind of a thing. And then um, Ollie, Ollie's just great at collaboration, and he offers cuts, but he listens and opens up for pushback and gives explanations. And it was so great. We took a little 15-minute break before we finished the play. Um, and then our translator, David Johnston, he's a North Irishman. But he wrote a book called Translating the Spanish Golden Age, which is apparently like really helpful to see his method, because we learned that in the original there is no queen character, but but sorry, I got distracted. What is that? Anyway, unimportant. I think it's my pillow. Um, yeah, but there's a constable character, and so how does he make that decision? Oh. We sat down and discussed our impressions of the play. Like only 400 of Lope de Vega's thousands of plays have survived him. And Ollie wants us to play with what's real and what's not, with the mysticism of the shadow and the peasant who talks to him. And I think there's going to be multiple of us, and we're going to not respond. And so we cut out all the lines of the peasant, and it's just going to be this idea. And then there's also themes of like free will versus determinism. That's a lot what Tis Pity was about as well. And then what role does Fabia play in the show? Like, who is she really? And then there was this great movie that's called Pi, like P-I. It's a black and white movie that we're supposed to look into. Another fun thought is that cars are a form of a mask, and they allow us to indulge in the darker desires of our psyche and stuff. But yeah, let's our inner self show. Then we had lunch. Then we came back and we got our casting. Drum roll. I will be playing Teo Uno. Teo 1. So he is Alonso, the gentleman of Olmedo, his manservant. So I'm like the Sancho Panza character. He's like clownish, jester, comedic character, which is what I was interested in playing. And I'm that for the first act. We divided it into 3 acts. So I'm excited about that. I get to have fun conversations and stuff with Fabia. And yeah, it's good stuff. I'm stoked. And then I'm also the king, El Rey Don Juan. I'm super excited about that. I'm going to do it with a Spanish accent, and I'm stoked. I think it's going to be quite fun. And I was as I've been working on this, I was looking at like what words I can do in Spanish. And good Don Pedro, you've served us well. Tus nombres, like your names. Ines. Oh, that's a good one. I could say tus nombres. No, vuestros nombres. That's what I would say, because it would be plural. Anyway, not important. But yeah, so that's cool. Some homework we have is we need to look up everything that our characters say about themselves, everything that others say about our characters, and then what our characters say about others. And then we need to answer Lawrence's 10 questions, which is a variation on Uta Hagen's 9 questions, and then write a short backstory about them, clear, short, specific, age, where they come from, why they are where they are, and then get with the person or people who are playing your character and kind of make it up with them a little bit so that it's consistent through the play. And then write 50 words for your character, just adjectives describing them. Decide what is useful and base it on the text. Then think about an animal for your character as well. I'm Theo for part 1 and the king for the rest. And then we read through it on our feet. We got up on our feet and we just acted out kind of in the round, just to kind of embody it a little bit, which was nice because the last 2 days we read the play, like sitting down, breaking it down, and then we got up on our feet and we did it. He also wants us to write our intention or objective for each unit or each event, and then played a partner game where we had to, this was fun. We played another game after we read through it where we had to keep eye contact the whole time. And then I was with my partner, who's awesome. And then we wandered around silently and just try to like see like moving levels and getting closer and playing with distance and all these different things, but maintaining that connected eye contact. I guess I should be looking there. Just doesn't matter where you're going, but you have that eye contact. You can blink or whatever, but you're just locked in. And then we stopped silently and chose someone who was a leader, and then the other who was the follower. And you didn't say it, you just one started leading. And then you switched and you found a natural end to it. And then we played a status game based on the same idea. So you started opposite ends of the studio facing the walls. And then Ollie came over and he showed you a card. And he showed you a card, like a playing card, like ace through two. And an ace is the highest status and two is the lowest. And so only you know your card. And then you turn around and you face each other and then you do the eye contact game, but you do it within the status of your character. Also, I don't know what to say if it's status or status. Brits say status. I've said both. I think most Americans would say status. But then we did it. And I did it with someone, and it was so interesting because we both came out pretty confident. And I was a queen, and so I came out and I was like, I'm pretty close, but there are two people ahead of me, so I'll prod it and test it and see like what's going on here. Um, and then afterwards we asked the class what they thought uh, we were, and then he asked each of us what we thought the other was, and then we revealed it. And I was a queen and my partner was a jack, so I figured it out. I was right on top and right above. And then we had an ace and a four, which was a big difference, and then a three and a two. And it was fascinating to see how these different people interact. And um, there's a part that we intuitively know um, how to respond based on status in class. There was like a moment where someone who was really lower class like exposed their throat, and that's very much like, you could kill me, you're in charge. Look at that deviated septum. The fact that I breathe is a miracle, I think. Hey, I do this whenever I need to breathe. It's like a shot. Woo! Anyway, and then what is the story? We talked about any narrative that seemed to appear as well, and that was the gist of it. Um, and then one of the students put on a production of King John with other students in our cohort, and they put it up with less than 10 hours of rehearsal, and it was based on this concept. Let's see if I can pull it up because I want to give proper due to those who deserve it. It is 70% based on elsewhere Shakespeare's process and 30% of ideas that she was working on. It was Lin Yi. I want to give her credit for doing this, um, which is just so cool and impressive that they were able to do that. And so it was this really kind of avant-garde performance. We walked in and I got dinner with some friends at Popeyes first, which was delightful. And then we picked up our chairs and they're like, put your chair wherever. So we just placed them in the space. And one of the actors was playing a mom whose son dies. She spotted another actor and I who were both fathers, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna deliver that speech right next to them," and it gutted me. It was so good. But yeah, that was Thursday. Great day, solid. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah. So yeah, that was the day. Anyway, this Thursday, I'm really enjoying this process. I got a lot of work to do. I'm excited about it, but it's all good. So I hope you have a wonderful day, lifetime event, whatever it may be. Love ya.